We are witnessing a quiet revolution at Manchester City, and as always, this type of change never goes unnoticed. Recently, the club revealed its position regarding Brazilian forward Savinho, especially after Tottenham's aggressive approach, which left no doubt about their interest in acquiring the player. However, City made it clear that there is no intention to release the young talent to another club. This decision has significant implications, especially considering the context of a transfer window that promises to be one of the busiest in recent times. It is clear that City is not only adjusting internally, but also aiming for new reinforcements, with the focus on Antoine Semenyo, the Bournemouth forward, whose departure is becoming increasingly imminent. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola's team continues its relentless pursuit of titles, following a difficult 2024-25 season, where the club ended without any major achievements. But before we dive deeper into the latest City news, I need your help. If you're a Manchester City fan or simply love football, don't waste time. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and activate the bell to stay updated on all the news about the greatest team in the Premier League. Now, let's get into all the hot updates straight from the Etihad, starting with the case of Savinho, which has sparked much discussion. The Brazilian forward, who was acquired from Tuahais, found himself in a somewhat uncomfortable position after Tottenham's interest. He found himself at a crossroads, questioning his role within Guardiola's system. Despite a promising debut season with good minutes on the field, he still wasn't a guaranteed starter. The arrival of Semenyo could further limit his opportunities, but Pep Guardiola, who has always been a big fan of Savinho's talent, has different plans for him. During the summer transfer window, Manchester City went through a major reshuffle. The departure of key figures like Kevin De Bruyne, Kyle Walker, and Ilkay Gundogan marked the end of an era, while new faces like Ryan Norrie, Johnny Reinders, and James Trafford came in to rejuvenate the team's energy. The big expectation was that the team would fight for trophies again after a season without major accomplishments, and Hugo Vanna's work as football director was crucial in giving the club a new direction. The transfer market movement brought significant changes to the squad, but Savinho's case was one of the biggest negotiation challenges for Vanna and Guardiola. The British press quickly reported Tottenham's interest, with the London team trying to lure Savinho by offering him a new opportunity for prominence. However, Manchester City was not willing to let the young forward go, especially after his contract renewal until 2031, which dispelled any speculation about an immediate departure. Despite not being a regular starter, Savinho has shown his worth every time he steps on the field, with great performances, including a key goal in the victory over Brentford in the Carabao Cup. Manchester City is determined to keep the player in its squad at least until the summer of 2026, when the club will assess his position and the impact he can have in the coming years. Now, while Savinho's future seems almost secured at City for a while, the situation of Antoine Semenyo at Bournemouth is at a breaking point. The Ghanaian forward, who has stood out in the Premier League, is about to be officially confirmed as Manchester City's first signing of January. With his contract with Bournemouth nearing its end, Semenyo seems increasingly likely to join the current Premier League champions. Manchester City has been working hard to close this deal as quickly as possible, aiming to avoid last-minute competition and ensuring that the forward fits well into Guardiola's team. Interest from clubs like Tottenham and West Ham was not enough to destabilize the negotiation, and City is expected to confirm Semenyo's arrival soon. Negotiations between Manchester City and Bournemouth have already reached an advanced stage. The Manchester club seems to have taken a major step toward securing Semenyo's signing, and things are moving quickly. Reliable sources indicate that the transfer could be finalized within the next 48 hours, with the $65 million release clause being paid, and Semenyo already agreeing to the personal terms of the contract. On Bournemouth's side, there is growing acceptance that Semenyo's departure is imminent. The club already understands that, with the player's contract nearing its end and his desire for new challenges, he won't be staying much longer. Andoni Iraola, a Bournemouth official, acknowledged that the player's situation is no longer fully under the team's control, especially after personal terms were agreed with Manchester City. What makes this transfer even more interesting is that, for Semenyo, money is not the primary factor. The forward seems more motivated by the opportunity to work with Pep Guardiola, win titles, and take a significant leap in his career. For a 24-year-old player, this is the perfect moment to test himself at one of the biggest clubs in the world. With the transfer set to be finalized, Manchester City gains another option in attack, which will surely be a major boost for Guardiola's team. Semenyo is an explosive, fast player with great finishing ability. His characteristics are exactly what City needs to add even more versatility to their attack, especially considering the injuries and struggles of some of their stars in recent months. Pep Guardiola has been a big admirer of Semenyo for some time, and he sees the forward as a key piece for the second half of the season. With the loss of some important players and the need to guarantee more depth in the squad, this transfer comes at just the right time for Manchester City. Now, the only question is timing. If everything goes as planned, Semenyo will become Manchester City's first major signing of January, ready to join the team and help the club pursue more titles. For the fans, this news brings great relief, as with Semenyo's arrival, City's attack becomes even stronger. But before we move forward with the latest on Semenyo, it's important to highlight another aspect that has been a topic of debate among Manchester City fans: the team's performance so far this season. After the departure of big names and a disappointing 2024-25 season, the start of this year was marked by a series of difficulties. However, Pep Guardiola, always the strategist, has defended the team's tough start and explained the reasons behind these struggles. In a recent comment, Guardiola addressed the reality that, with so many changes in the squad and coaching staff, adaptation would inevitably be challenging. The coach talked about how the absence of figures like Kevin De Bruyne, Kyle Walker, and Ilkay Gundogan had a significant impact, but that the team was gradually adjusting. Pep also discussed the lack of consistency in the first rounds, with unexpected defeats to Tottenham and Brighton, which left Manchester City in an uncomfortable position in the table early on. However, now, with a winning streak achieved at the end of 2025, the team seems to be regaining its strength and confidence, getting closer to Arsenal in the Premier League title race. Pep's work in adjusting the team and testing different formations has paid off. Manchester City now seems to be on the right path, and the consecutive victories are proof of that. Semenyo's arrival will be an important addition to keep the squad competitive and ensure that the team continues strong in the coming weeks. For Manchester City fans, the outlook is promising. The team is regaining its dominant form, with a strong winning streak and the signing of Semenyo to strengthen the attack. Once again, Manchester City is demonstrating why it is considered one of the greatest clubs in world football. The end of 2025 has been a period of recovery and renewed confidence, with Pep Guardiola's team finding balance after a season of turmoil and unexpected challenges. The change in leadership at the football department, with Hugo Vanna taking over from Siki Berestein, marked the beginning of a new era at the Etihad Stadium, and the expectations could not be higher for what's to come. The club went through the previous season without titles, a rare and frustrating setback for City's high standards of excellence. But, as with any great team, adversity served as motivation. Now, with new reinforcements arriving, a more strategic approach in the transfer market, and Guardiola's tireless work, the team looks ready to fight for more glory. The addition of players like Ryan Norrie, Tijani Reinders, and Marcus Bettinelli has renewed the squad's energy and undoubtedly contributed to the team's ongoing growth. Savinho's case, for instance, was a clear example of how Manchester City has positioned itself to secure the future without giving in to external pressures. Pep and Vanna's decision to keep the player in the squad, despite other clubs' interest, reflects the confidence in the forward's potential and the club's long-term strategic vision. Savinho, who was one of the market's promising talents, now has the chance to mature further and prove his worth, even if he's not a constant starter. Guardiola believes in his quality and, over time, hopes the young Brazilian will become a pillar of the team. Regarding Semenyo, Manchester City seems to have made an intelligent move by acting quickly to close the deal for the Bournemouth forward. His finishing ability, combined with speed and the potential to be a constant threat in attack, are exactly what the team needs. Semenyo's arrival brings more versatility to Guardiola's attack, offering additional options for a team that, despite its great quality, has lacked a forward who can be a constant presence in the box. How Semenyo adapts to Pep's style of play will be one of the most interesting things to follow in the coming months, but with his talent, expectations are high. In terms of competition, although Manchester City faced challenges at the start of the season, they are now in a recovery position. The consecutive wins, especially the hard-fought victory over Nottingham Forest, reflect the team's resilience. Guardiola, who has seen his team face difficulties at the start of the season, used those experiences to adjust and refine their collective play. This includes testing new players in different positions and working with the squad to find solutions for the offensive and defensive issues that have arisen. The intensity and team spirit, combined with the additions made during the transfer window, have put City back in the title race. Semenyo's arrival at City is crucial. The January transfer window is an opportunity to reinforce the squad, and Semenyo's signing is just the beginning. The club needs to continue its pursuit of trophies on multiple fronts, and signing a quality forward like Semenyo ensures that the team has depth to compete at the highest level, whether in the Premier League, the Champions League, or other competitions. Guardiola, as always, will make sure to integrate the player into his system quickly, maximizing his potential and ensuring that Manchester City continues its winning trajectory. For Manchester City fans, the future looks bright. The team is in a transitional phase but has a solid foundation and quality players. Guardiola, as always, is shaping the team to reach new heights and ensure that City remains a powerhouse in world football. The pressure to win titles is always high, but with the quality of the squad and Guardiola's experience, there is no doubt that Manchester City is well positioned to continue dominating the Premier League and challenging Europe's giants. The January transfer window will be an important test for the club, but with the reinforcements arriving, like Semenyo, and the team's determination to overcome the early season difficulties, the outlook is extremely positive. Guardiola's hard work and his ability to adapt to circumstances will ensure that Manchester City continues to rise. The winning mentality is back, and the team is ready to fight for every title, whether domestic or international. And of course, we cannot forget that the focus is always on the group as a whole. Although individual stars like Haaland and De Bruyne are crucial to the team's success, Guardiola's philosophy has always prioritized the collective. The way the team unites, trusts each other's abilities, and shares the common goal of achieving success has been the key to Manchester City's triumphs in recent seasons. The hard work, tactical discipline, and individual quality of their players make City a formidable opponent in any competition. For the fan who follows the team, the future looks full of hope. The difficulties faced early in the season are now seen as a period of learning and adaptation, and the recovery in recent months is proof of the team's ability to respond. Now, with new players arriving and Pep Guardiola's continued work, Manchester City is ready to fight for titles and continue their journey to success. And that's it, folks. Manchester City is stronger than ever, and the updates coming in promise to transform the team even more in the coming weeks. Now, with Semenyo's arrival and the changes in the squad, City is preparing for a second half of the season filled with challenges, but with great chances of winning everything they compete for. If you're as excited as we are about all these moves and want to stay up to date with everything happening at the biggest team in the Premier League, don't waste time. Subscribe to our channel, like the video to show your support, and activate the bell so you never miss a new update. Let's go together because Manchester City is just getting started. See you in the next video.